In today's Elden Ring video, we're gonna take a look at possibly the most broken build to ever be conceived in this game that for some reason became even more overpowered just recently. It's gonna give you the possibility to machine gun your enemies from very far away, consuming little to no resources, constantly healing up in battle, and if anything even there comes close to you, they will literally be consumed by the flames of death, which might or might not result in severe impalement. So let's talk about that in this video. Now this build will be a bit unconventional because instead of making use of swords or staves to throw magic bullets at your target, you will be using a shield that throws magic bullets at your target. This is going to be the Earth Tree Greatshield and possibly the best weapon right now in the game. You can get this from the 2 tree sentinels guarding Lindell, the main capital, on the main road right here on this side of the map when you make your way over there. You might want to take them one by one since this is going to be way easier that way instead of fighting with 2 annoying, well, horsemen at the same time. But what makes this shield so interesting is its ability, the L2, which is a spell reflect. If there's any incoming spell projectile towards your character, you can reflect it back at the target for some massive damage. But there's actually a second effect that this shield is capable of, and that is to also reflect back any status effect currently applied onto your character, be it rot, poison, fire damage over time, it doesn't really matter. You can reflect these back to your target. And yes, this includes the ones that you yourself apply to your character, which I think you know where this brings us. It's gonna bring us to a special incantation that will set us on fire. Now, of course, this can work with literally anything else that will provide a damage over time ability that works on your character. So you can literally eat dung, get poisoned, and this will still work. But by far the most reliable is going to be the fire's deadly sin, which you can, by the way, find also in the Altus Plateau right here onto the northernmost part of the map. You just have to follow the main road through one of these oversized forests, make your way right here onto this village to the right side, completely ignore the main boss in this area, and then do a sharp turn to the right and go right behind this shack slash house, because at the edge of this cliff there's going to be a guy sitting by a chair, and once he disappears he's going to give you access to that sinful, well, fire ability, which is something that you will definitely need. Now, why is this going to work so well with the shield? Well, basically here it is. You set yourself on fire with the fire's deadly sin ability and then spam the L2 button on the shield to continuously shoot these magic bullets for as long as you're still under the fire effect. And the buff lasts for a pretty long time, about full 40 seconds without having anything to increase that. If you go with something like the Old Lord's Talisman, yes, it will extend the spell effect duration, in this case by about 10 to 15 seconds, give or take, depending on how you calculate this, but it definitely helps to prolong it so that you can use those shield bullets way more often. But on top of that, there's some other stuff in there that can fully enable this build, make it even more overpowered, and especially a broken component for PvP that will literally impale your target. And this brings us to the next components, and yeah, in this case let's talk about the Eclipse Shotel. You can find this a little bit later in the game from a place called Castle Sol, which is going to be located right here in the Land of the Giants, so the northern part slash the snowy area. Luckily enough, you don't have to do anything in this area, simply make your way here in the chapel slash church and go all the way to the altar and get this legendary item from this corpse sitting in front of it, and that's gonna give you access to this really awesome shuttle right here. Now, why is this so important? Well, it's because of the special Flame of Death ability that it has. Now, this is an amazing effect that eventually builds up a sort of corruption against the target that will end up impaling it. But it also has an unintended effect if you couple it with the previously unlocked Fire's Deadly Sin, helping you literally spread that to any nearby enemies. So here is how it goes. I'm pretty sure that this is not intended to work this way, but right now it's so broken that I don't think there's anything close in the game to it. So you will want to actually start with the shuttle, activate the effect on it, and then set yourself on fire with the Fire's Deadly Sin. And with the Fire's deadly sin. Now you don't just set enemies on fire that get close to you, but also cause that corruption against them. So here's a few examples that I have done in PvP just to show you how broken this is. Like, this is definitely not gonna resist a few patches, or well, who am I to say so? There's other like overpowered stuff in the game that From Software never fixed. But I'm gonna start things off, of course, with the shuttle. I'm just gonna apply it to my character, so that should last for like 20 seconds. Then I'm gonna set my character on fire and just leave this guy to come in close and deal damage. Like, he thinks he's about to win the matchup with the seppuku, but oh, he definitely realized it now. He realized it, that if he stays close, this happens. Yeah, this is basically the extent of the insanity of this build right here, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted you to see it live right now. Alright, so here is another matchup against somebody. I don't think he realizes I'm here yet, so I will just apply the buffs. Yeah, now he sees me, so he's gonna use that against me. Probably another seppuku kind of, well, bleed build from the looks of it. I'm just gonna give him the false impression that he's in control, just dodging away, waiting for that to apply. Most players, for some reason, do not notice this. So I'm just gonna keep it at bay a little bit until it procs, and like any second now it should proc, and there it is. Look at that. That is absolutely beautiful. The impalement is, I don't know, it just gives me a feeling of serenity whenever I see it, because I know that at that point the fight ends. So this poor guy is about to find out what's about to happen. I think actually he just realized, which is why he's dodging and running in fear pretty much, but that won't help him. And lo and behold, this is what happens. I think even the other guy ran in panic after seeing this, which is just hilarious, but you can always take them by surprise furthermore, because you still have the shield with the bullets to cast against them, so even if they disengage or like maybe do something like a counter attack, you can follow with a quick one and they won't expect that either, which is surprisingly good in ganking situations. Like in this case, I got 3 versus 1, 2 were invisible for some reason, and they just got dropped immediately because they did not expect the fire, the damage, the corruption, and then the bullets. Now there's a few more things that you can do to fully augment this build and make it even more powerful, especially for PvE, and one of the downsides is that it deals damage over time to you, so you need a method to regenerate HP, and one of the best to do this is the talisman called Taker's Cameo. Now you get this from the 3rd contract that you do for the Volcano Manor, which is going to give you access to this bloody ladder, and to achieve this you're going to eventually have to make your way into the land of the giants right here on this side of the map and take down one of these targets. Once you have taken down that target, you can make your way back at the manor, and yeah, the character there will give you the Taker's Cameo, which restores HP upon defeating enemies, and it's a pretty large chunk of HP that you're getting each hit, so that's like 60 to 80 HP, which is quite good actually, since you're taking down targets so fast. Now there's other options in the game. I believe some of them will even give you like heal when just doing damage against them, but I think that's of a much lower quality. This one gives you a rather large one, so you can keep on going until your HP is even depleted. Now as far as the stats go, you will only want the strength, dexterity, and faith for the minimum requirements to wear these items and skills in the first place. So yeah, after that you don't even need to invest any points into those, but otherwise go with the endurance. This is by far the most important stat here. You will not want to fat roll. This is a heavy shield, so you need a high equip load, but at the same time you also want to have enough stamina to cast these bullets. They only seem to consume stamina, so mind can be fully ignored, as well as intelligence and arcane. At the same time you might also want to focus a bit on the vigor to survive any incoming blows, assuming there's any to begin with, but that's mostly for PvP. In close range combat, in PvE, nothing can even bypass the shield except bosses, but if they get close to you, and that's very rare. But yeah, this is it with the build. Let me know down below what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.